class. Today we're going to do the 2025 IPC Measurement Olympics. Got my student data sheet here. Let's start with event 1, which is the weightlifting finals, which we will be figuring out the mass of 2 different weightlifters. Here, 2 different erasers. Okay, so object 1 is the larger eraser and object 2 is the smaller eraser. Now we need to predict a weight class. The weight class are listed here under the event instructions. Is it featherweight? That's less than 0.1 grams, lightweight, cruiserweight, heavyweight, so on. I'm gonna guess this is featherweight. Very small. And this may be lightweight. This is probably around a gram. Actually, it feels a little bit more than a gram. I'm gonna guess cruiserweight. A gram is about the size of a paper clip. This feels heavier to me. So we need to measure the mass. Step 3 here, use the balance to measure its mass in grams. I'm gonna turn it on. I'm going to zero my cup, subtract my weight, make sure it's at 0 grams, and I'll go ahead and weigh my large eraser first. Okay, it comes out to 12.8 grams. Remove it. Make sure it's back to 0. It is, and I'm going to take the mass of the second eraser. It is 2.1 grams. So when we're doing this, we need to make sure that we're writing our unit. So give myself a pen here. The smaller, the larger eraser, and the smaller eraser. So this is 12.8 grams. This one's 2.1 grams. Remember to add your metric system unit, which is grams here. All right, next we need to convert it to mass. All right, and we're gonna need some room to do this conversion. So I've left some room down here for you to do conversions. I have our conversion factors here if you can't remember, but in class we talked about the King Henry method of remembering how to convert these units, right? King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. That's kilo, hecta, deca. This is the base. It could be grams, liters, meters. It's your base unit, your foundation. And then these are the smaller units, deci, centi, milli. So we are going from, erased it here, 12.8 grams, and we want to convert that to kilograms. So let's do our little jumping method here. We're at grams, which is the base, and we need to hop over to kilograms 1, 2, 3 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We need to move our decimal. So if we're at 12.8 grams, we need to move our decimal 1, 2, 3 times here. 1, 2, 3. So now what we have is 12.8 grams is equivalent to 0.0128 kilograms. And that's going to be the same thing here. We're going to jump our decimal over 3 times. That's going to give us 0.0021 grams. And then we need to convert into pounds. Okay, pounds is not in the metric system, so we're going to be forced to use dimensional analysis here. So I'm just going to erase this. Let's set up our dimensional analysis, which we learned on the practice, on the 1.2 conversion practice. So again, the larger eraser is 12.8 grams, and we need to convert that to pounds. So here's what we're given. We're going to set up our dimensional analysis. Multiplied, we're going to have a conversion factor there, and what we want to get to is pounds. So we need a proper conversion factor here, which again, you've already been given here. 1 pound is equivalent to around 450 grams. Okay, if you went to the store and bought a pound of potatoes here in the United States, that would be about 450 grams in a country that uses the metric system. So we're going to set up our conversion factors. Old units on the bottom, grams. New units on the top. We want it in pounds. And we now know that in 1 pound, there are 453.592 grams. Grams have been canceled out. We're going to be left with pounds. We multiply across the top, 12.8. Divide by the bottom, divided by 453.592. I don't have my calculator right now. I need one at each station, but you can go ahead and calculate that. 12.8 divided by 453.592, and that's going to come out with our mass here in pounds. Okay, and then we need to go back and look at whether we predicted that correctly. I predicted that the large eraser was going to be in the cruiserweight, and that the small eraser was going to be in the featherweight. When we go back and look at our data, the larger eraser is in the heavyweight category because it's greater than 10. So the actual weight class is the heavyweight. So it was a little bit off there. The small eraser was 2.1. That would put it in the cruiserweight. So I predicted that things were a little bit lighter than they actually were. But we're really practicing conversions here. So if these are my hypotheses, it was incorrect, but that's okay. Let's go to our next event.